5-0 running up on the block, you know what I'm saying? Yo, still, they came around looking for you the other day. Word, bust it.
Informer, you know say that I'm a stormy, I go blam. I like it bum bum down. Take the man that say that I'm a stormy, stand somewhere down the lane. I like it bum bum down. Informer, you know say that I'm a stormy, I go blam. I like it bum bum down. Take the man that say that I'm a stormy, stand somewhere down the lane. I like it bum bum down. These are them gonna come in and they blow down my door. Rain it come pour through my window, so they put me in the back the car at the station. From that point on, I reach my destination.
You guys are listening to the Wrestling Informer here on the Dirty Sheets podcast. You can follow the Dirty Sheets on X at Dirty Sheets X. That's at Dirty Sheets X. And to get the exclusive news and the full version of the show, head over to thedirtysheets.com, thedirtysheets.com, and you can sign up for just $5 a month, which is $1.25 a week. And if you don't have that money to invest in us, then I don't care about you and I don't want to know you. So let's move on with this edition of the show. So we are going to give you half the show. We were supposed to do that last week, but I felt there were so many exclusives that have come to fruition, by the way, on the show, that I was just going to release the full show exclusively for Patreons. But as compensation, I am going to release the entire show this weekend to show you guys what you are missing out on, because we are moving on to this new format. So the Dirty Sheets podcast that you guys used to get is now available every week for free, or every weekend for free, on YouTube. It is a shorter version. It does not contain any news or exclusives. It is just me and Cav going back and forth, or just me, because Cav is very unreliable and difficult to get hold of these days because he's doing this new job. Yet he can always find time to do the show that he does with Joe Feeney. So this is a guy who had pretty much no audience until he partnered up with me. I gave him an audience. I then was working with K100 where Joe Feeney fucked me over, and Cav decides to go and work with Joe Feeney, taking an audience that he got from me over to Joe Feeney, who I dislike and who fucked me when I was working on K100. Cav decides to work there and makes that his priority. Makes that his priority to get that show out every single week without fail, but cannot make a solid commitment to this show, the show that gave him his audience and gave him the opportunity to get this opportunity with Joe Feeney. Work that one out. I guess it just shows you who people are. But yeah, he can't make a full commitment to the show on a weekly basis, and I'm not going to be recording at stupid times that he offers me up. Last week he did the show in the car, which I don't think is a great look. So ultimately, a lot of the shows will be done, if not all the shows on the Dirty Sheets will be done by me, unless we can find somebody else to do it. So you're going to have the Dirty Sheets on YouTube and the Wrestling Informer behind a paywall. And we are going to come on here for free and tell you what's going to be on the Wrestling Informer in the first half of the Wrestling Informer. But we're going to make a change immediately this week, because we're going to recap some of the stuff that we've got right, because we have been on absolute fire so far this year. And there isn't really too many exclusives to kind of go into on the Wrestling Informer side of things, as we are just 24 hours away from the King of the Ring. So we would probably be repeating news bits that we did last week, which is why I'm going to release that show in its entirety for free. But this week has been a great week for stories that we reported. Last week we reported that Minnesota did lose WrestleMania. They've lost WrestleMania for the third time. It's the third time they've lost WrestleMania. And I said that they would be getting a major pay-per-view as compensation and would be announcing it very soon. So even though that ended up being SummerSlam 2026, the reason it was announced so soon was because the governor had egg on her face. She promised the announcement of a major event coming to Minnesota. And because WrestleMania went to Vegas, as I said, she had absolutely nothing to announce. So it was looking like an embarrassing situation. So WWE gave them the next available pay-per-view and gave her permission to pull the trigger, Why was it not SummerSlam 2025? Why was it not Royal Rumble 2025? Well, I believe that these events have already been allocated and are yet to be announced. I know Saudi is heavily in the frame for the Royal Rumble. I know that the UK is set to get a major event. I don't think actually that's going to be SummerSlam 2025. The thing is, with the UK, they make a lot of noise when they get there, when they get into the shows. But ticket sales have been a problem. Paying these ticket prices have been a problem. The crowds in Leon were more willing to part with their cash than the crowds in Scotland. Now, granted, Scotland have gone even higher with the pricing. They've gone an additional £100 or so, I would say, per ticket, which is €110. And that has proved to be problematic. But I'm not even sure that things would have sold any better if they were £100 less. At the end of the day, you have people who are going to pay these prices, give or take £100 or £200, and you have people that just want to pay the old prices. So it is a problem for WWE, and it is going to be difficult for the UK to get a major pay-per-view with these ticket sales, because WWE want to charge a certain price, the UK don't want to pay it, and that gives the advantage over to the likes of Berlin and Lyon and a potential event in Rome, Italy, moving forward. So that was our Minnesota story. We also reported a while back that MJF wasn't coming to the WWF and he has re-signed with AEW. That report is now surfacing more widespread. I mean, it's only 4 or 5 months after we said it. But that is the facts. MJF, as we reported, I remember reporting specifically saying he's not going to be popping up in any Royal Rumbles. If you see any kind of question mark, and I'm sure that black silhouette is still Alex Riley from back in the day, but if you see that question mark silhouette popping up, that isn't going to be MJF. Don't get your hopes up. I said that he was re-signed with AEW, or at least the terms had been agreed for him to begin a new deal as of June 1st, and that will be the case. On June 1st, MJF will be under a new AEW contract for 3 years with an option to renegotiate and re-sign for 2 more. And the option extends both ways, much like it did with Cody Rhodes, who decided not to stay, whilst many others have, Jericho, Moxley, etc. And probably the most significant story that we got right, because it was the biggest story of the year, Brian Gewirtz confirmed absolutely everything that we said about The Rock relating to WrestleMania 40. Everything that we reported day by day when we were doing constant reporting on it as the situation evolved, as it was a fluid situation, Brian Gewirtz has confirmed everything that we said. And when I say that, I mean literally everything, from CM Punk being planned to win the Royal Rumble, to Cody Rhodes being changed to the Royal Rumble winner and the WWE planning to injure him. The WWE then changing to Cody versus Seth once CM Punk got injured, and Cody Rhodes supposedly was supposed to have a different reaction to The Rock coming out because he knew that he was going to go on and face Cody, to plans changing once the crowd did not respond to it. But the bottom line is, it was supposed to be The Rock versus Roman Reigns, and they were going to get there in a very strange way. Initially, it was simply going to be very clean. CM Punk winning the Royal Rumble and Cody getting his shot at elimination, getting his opportunity by winning the Elimination Chamber. And it would be after the Elimination Chamber they were going to injure Cody. But the WWE decided that they were going to injure Cody earlier than that, and that they were going to have CM Punk win the Elimination Chamber instead. So they were going to swap it and have the Royal Rumble winner be Cody Rhodes, whereas Brian Gewirtz felt like that the Royal Rumble was more important, that you shouldn't take away from the integrity of the Rumble, just have Punk win it, set up that main event cleanly, and then move on to doing what you're doing with The Rock and Cody in the way that you're going to bring in The Rock to replace Cody, which would have initially been Cody winning the Elimination Chamber and then being injured by the Bloodline and being replaced by The Rock, with Cody sitting WrestleMania out. The reason the reason why things would change for Cody not to sit WrestleMania out was because CM Punk was injured and they wanted to shoehorn Cody into that Seth Rollins spot. But Cody was said to have not reacted correctly during that segment, and they said that was part of the reason why they felt like Cody ended up getting that sympathy and it didn't get the wrong reaction. I felt like that would have got the wrong reaction anyway, because of this soft audience that we have who don't really want to get the big matches done. Instead, they prioritize the wrestling side of things, and they prioritize their guys, the guys that they love from the indies or other promotions. And there has been a big push behind Cody Rhodes. There is a big section of the fan base who are behind him. And that reaction did not surprise me, because you do have these people that will still be turning around and saying, oh, The Rock's a part-timer, oh, Brock Lesnar's a part-timer, Ronda Rousey's a part-timer, they don't deserve this, they don't deserve that. Well, they're rich and they're famous and they're well known around the world, and they bring eyes to the product, which is actually the most important thing, because these people, as I keep pointing out, their eyes are already fixed on the product. Their eyes aren't going anywhere. No matter what shit you serve them, whether they like it or not, they are going to watch and they are going to invest their money. So I wouldn't have made that change. WWE did. In the end, chicken shit was turned into chicken salad, because we enjoyed a phenomenal run to WrestleMania, phenomenal build, and the best version of The Rock that we have ultimately seen in 19 years. So everything panned out great. I'm sure that we are getting The Rock and Roman either at this year's WrestleMania or the WrestleMania after, which actually brings me on to the new news that I want to cover on this show. So at this point, we're going to say goodbye to the Dirty Sheets listeners. If you want to get the rest of the show, you know where to go. You can either subscribe on your podcast app, and if you do that, you'll get the rest of the show by hitting the subscribe button for the full version of the show. Or you can simply head over to the Patreon, which is thedirtysheets.com. That's thedirtysheets.com. And you can get the rest of the show, where we have 3 exclusive news bits that we are going to cover. So at this moment, we say goodbye to our regular free listeners.